Welcome back to the Rally of the Bay for part 2 of our wrap-up of the MTA New South Wales Rally Championship. But before we get stuck into the outright contenders, let's take a look at a couple of the front-wheel drive cars battling it out with the rear and four-wheel drive front-runners. Brett Middleton and Andrew Benefield are in a Honda Civic and were really enjoying the AMH Rally of the Bay and finished 14th outright.
Yeah, look, it's a fantastic event. We're having a bit of a go. The challenge is not just being first front-wheel drive, but being first two-wheel drive, and that's always a big challenge. The roads are in really good condition, but very, very bony. Being car 20 on the road, come around some of the corners, and some of the front-running cars have pulled big rocks and little logs and sticks on the road, so there's not a lot of choice of our position where you've got to commit to the corner. But overall, look, it's fantastic. I'm really, really happy, and we're still here having a go.
In another similar Honda Civic was Brian Newton and Ryan Price. They finished 18th outright, and along with Middleton, were the only two front-wheel drive cars to finish in the top 20. But for outright honours, it wasn't going to turn out to be a great afternoon for Tim Wilkins and Jim Gleeson in the Evo 7 Lancer. They were entered in the blind rally, but were setting times that were more like pace note times. In stage 7, they were equal 6th fastest, but in the following stage, they broke a tie rod end and were out. That left the battle for the outright lead in the blind rally between Ivan Register and Ben Hayes, both in Subaru WRXs. Register and co-driver Paul Humm were quickest in most of the stages throughout the day and would take the win, even after dropping 20 seconds in stage 6. But for good reason.
The car's been very good. We had a puncture on stage 6, so that cost us some time. But everything else, the car's been brilliant.
Ben and Kathy Hayes in a WRX, like Register, were competing in the Victorian Championship, but also eligible for New South Wales points. As the afternoon stages progressed, they were consistently getting quicker, and in the last 2 stages managed to beat Register. It was enough to maintain a lead in the VRC, but not the win for the round. Their focus clearly on the overall Victorian Championship.
Well, we've got Yarra Valley coming up, which is going to be a really good event. That's based on the old Rally of Melbourne road. So if we do pull off the win tonight, I think that puts us in a pretty good position for the championship. So yeah, we've got 3 events left. But as you know, rallying can be a cruel sport. You never know what happens till the end.
Carl Stewart and Matt James were third in the blind event, with yet another Victorian team finishing just 10 seconds behind. It was another WRX of Paul Eccles and Tom Rusman, who clearly enjoyed the New South Wales roads.
I've had a ball, absolutely fun. A little bit bony, but it's very similar to the roads we use around Hilton, the Academus. Yeah, very good area. Love coming up here actually today, it's good.
400, road goes left off the crest.
Over in the Pace Note Rally, the top 6 outright positions at the first service stayed in exactly the same order for the remainder of the event. Sitting in 6th outright was Gavin Croker and Brad Fitzgerald in the older Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 3. Croker has been absent from rallying for almost 2 years after rolling the car at the 2016 running of the AMH Rally of the Bay. But he was back and performing well, setting the 2nd fastest time on stage 2 and stage 6.
Oh, it's great just to get back and yeah, get amongst it. It's sort of a little bit not committing to the things that you normally do, but it's good to be back. Yeah, like the car's brand new. It hadn't been down a dirt road before the first stage today, so it's done an amazing job, and just to get to the end, we're stoked. Yeah.
Ben Barker and Damien Long were next in the classic BMW. Chris Higgs and Damon Nicoli in the Lancer Evo 6 would be rewarded for their excellent pace with 4th outright. They've got aspirations of once again competing in the Australian Championship, so we're using the Rally of the Bay as a testing ground.
We're just having fun, mate. We're learning this car. Each stage gets better and better. Going from the Subaru to the mechanical diffs is a lot different, but the reason we've done that is because we're using all Mitsubishi running gear in the new AP4. So this is actually a test car for the running gear in the AP4. We both enjoyed it, and we're learning the car, learning each other again, and we've got lots to come next year.
With so many Mitsubishi Lancer Evos at the pointy end of the Pace Note Rally, it was good to see the Subaru WRX STI of Michael Harding and James Thornburn finish the rally third outright.
Right entry hug, brow 4 left long.
They were pushing the car hard, heavily relying on the accuracy of their pace notes.
It's so much safer. You can take much more calculated risks, whereas, in my opinion anyway, blind rallying is far riskier. Because to go fast, you've got to hope. Whereas we know what's coming up. There's no real surprises as long as nothing changes since the notes are written.
But the battle for the top position on the podium was clearly between Brinkman and Hatton. Hatton and co-driver Nathan Long were pushing as hard as they could. But there's a sense of maturity creeping into JJ's driving style. He now knows that to win the series, he needs to finish every event. Despite winning 3 of the stages, putting it off the road whilst leading the rally is no longer a strategic option.
I seem to start getting consistent now, so I think every heat I've done, I've finished second. And unless something magical happens on that stage, I think I'm second again overall for the event. It's literally me and Glenn just changing times the whole time, so it's very good. Like, he's very competitive, he's very fast, and he's a top bloke, so if he's brought home the trophy, I'm all happy for him, you know what I mean?
But Brinkman and co-driver Harvey Smith were clearly in the zone and stamped their authority on the rally.
5 right. 100, turn 2 right.
They won every other stage in the event and finished with a 31-second margin back to Hatton.
Yeah, it was great, huh? That was good. We just had to get through there for a couple of little problems, but yeah, awesome. Good night stage. I haven't done a long night stage for 12 years, so good.
With only 2 rounds of the MTA New South Wales Championship to come, Brinkman can easily win if he keeps up the current speed. But he has a little dilemma leading into the Bathurst round.
I've got a Queensland clash with one, so I'll be flip of the coin. No, I'll be.
So let's head over to the leaderboard for a quick look at the outright positions in both the blind rally and the Pace Note Rally. Heading to the Bathurst Rally on September 22, the series points are an interesting read. But with teams still to drop their 2 worst rounds, these numbers don't really reveal how close the championship has become. If we adjust the points to the best 6 heats from the 8 so far, we can see that there are only 5 points separating the top 4. All teams except the J-Sport Hatton Long combination have dropped 2 heats with 0 points. So JJ could easily be in the box seat come the next 2 rounds. And as we wrap up the Rally of the Bay, let's have a look at Mick, Patton and Bernie Webb in the Mitsubishi Lancer, who had their intercom burn out. The hand signals in the car, an unusual sight for a co-driver who excels in his clear and calm approach to reading pace notes and actually writes and supplies the smooth line notes used by many of the competing crews. And one thing we should mention, Richie Dalton was here in a Skoda. The car not eligible for New South Wales points, but actually was the fastest of all the crews competing. It was great to see the Skoda and Richie with co-driver Dale Moscott out in the forest.
30. Early 4 right up. 50.